And we live. King, what's going on, brother?
Man, what ain't going on? There's a lot going on right now.
Listen, we thought this was just going to be a relaxed Sunday. We actually had other plans for the podcast today, low key. But we got to talk about it. We got to talk about it. Our head coach, Michigan basketball, Juwan Howard, up in the here. He up in the club slapping hoes.
That Chicago then came out in full force today.
Listen. He had a few times where he got riled up, but nothing like this. Listen, if you don't know, I know that's what I said. We want you guys to come in and let's talk about it, man, because a trouble is a brewing for Michigan basketball head coach right now. It's speculations right now whether he's going to be suspended, how long is he suspended, or is this a fireable offense? I mean,
I don't know, man. I don't think he gets fired, but we got to see what this suspension is going to look like because, like I said, he initiated the contact, so he can't be out there like this ain't the NBA. These ain't players. You can't be doing that. You ain't no player no more, Juwan. You a coach. You can't be putting your mittens on people, man.
But it's crazy because Juwan really liked that as a player. You never. Juwan was always the calm, cool, and collected player that that you can go to, and seeing him get fired up like that, I know the game had him frustrated because honestly, watching the game, Michigan's shooting woes really showed up today.
Yes.
And it's been really that way all season. The reason why Michigan's record the way it is it's been up and down because the shooting woes they have, and I think it was frustration started to set in now. What really transpired, the reason why I believe Juwan Howard was upset because the game was well at hand. Yeah. And the coach from Wisconsin went and called a timeout with 15 seconds left. Like, for what?
Yeah.
Like, what are you trying to do? And I believe Juwan Howard was upset about that. Reason why he didn't go forth and shake hands in the beginning after the game was over. But when he finally came back around, he had some words. He went and collared the coach up a little bit. He was a little frustrated. And of course, players and coaches got in between. I guess one of the assistants said something to Juwan that he really didn't like it. He had to reach over and bless him a little bit.
This is Wisconsin we talking about. So I'm wondering what that other assistant said to Juwan Howard to trigger him like that because we're talking about Wisconsin people here.
Hey, listen, whatever it was, it caused him to come out with a little smack out the gate. So, definitely it's a black eye for Michigan. Of course, we as Michigan fans, as the Michigan culture, they hold Michigan to a high standard, of course. So seeing that definitely is going to be a ripple effect, and we just got to see how much of this is going to affect the program going forward, and also if it's a potential that it can affect Juwan Howard as a coach.
Yeah, because like I said, this is season is really underwhelming. Then you go out and do something like this it's not a good situation for him to be in. He really is hurting himself right now. Don't be what a lot of people, already have a perception of you being in the beginning. Saying, don't let your anger get the best of you like that. Curve that anger and use it in a correct direction, man. Because like I said, it's.
I mean, but you got also, a lot of times with these coaches, they use that try to use it as momentum to fire up their players to get some things going. Because today they really was off their game as far as like shooting wise. The shots were terrible. Nobody could hit a shot, and that's, like I said, been something that's been transparent throughout the season. They're real up and down. Like the other night, they shot well. They couldn't miss. There was balance. Not tonight. They don't shoot well. This is what happens, and this was the gist of it. But it is a good question that we're gonna have to figure out, like whether or not how this suspension thing it's most definitely going to be a suspension. We know that,
right?
We know it's definitely going to be suspension. Now, for how long, and will this carry over? It's something that we're gonna have to look for in a while.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to the details to come out. I want to hear some of the statements come out, especially from him, and I want to hear what was said to him to make him, get triggered like that. Obviously, the disrespect in the first place, okay, you and the other coach was arguing, ain't the worst thing in the world. But for you to reach over and attack someone, obviously that guy came up and said something because he came out of the picture out of nowhere, and then he
Hmm.
said something and it triggered you. I'm probably
Yeah,
sure I know what that something is, and if it is that, for me personally, it's all justified. You need to do
but that's another thing though. Is any of it justified, especially when you're a head coach and
right.
you got because what he did, it was a trickle effect to the play because the players was out there tussling and fighting too, and they could have got themselves in a position where they could be suspended or hurt,
Yeah,
which that he has to be held accountable for as
it's
well as a head coach. You got because these players they're not getting paid like he's getting paid, and this is their season too, so they got a lot more to lose than Juwan Howard losing is cool. And of course, as a player, you're gonna ride for your coach. You're gonna ride for your coach, whether no matter wrong or right. That's how we brought up. Ride for your man's and him.
it's definitely gonna rally the guys, but if your coach ain't gonna be there, then I mean, what good is it? You know what I'm saying? Because those guys, like I said, they're gonna stick up for each other. They
Hmm.
consider themselves family. And if I see my coach scrapping, well, I'm scrapping. That's just how I go. I had a high school situation like that, man, where our coach got into it with a parent, and we was with him. We was 100% with him. Like, hey, what I'm saying, if it get to that point, we ready. What I'm saying, just what a
But
team.
that's how it is, and that's why you know as coaches you got to be careful because as players, as men, we follow our coach. We'll follow our coach into war if he tell us to. That's how we as men. That's how we
How we're
operate.
wired. Yeah, that's how we're
That's
wired.
how that's how we operate. Is that listen? This is our leader. We're gonna follow our leader, and then him being the head coach, no matter wrong or right, we're gonna follow you into this battle. And for him doing that, and the fact of the matter is how it was done. I think what the issue is because it was a losing effort. They was getting blown out at the end of the game. Everybody gonna say he couldn't handle it.
Right.
There's gonna be detractors say, listen, you were mad that you lost. Of course, yeah, the timeout was unnecessary, but they're gonna say, listen, yeah, we know it was unnecessary, but you didn't have to blow up like that. You didn't have to act like that, and you put kids at danger. You put coaches at danger. I mean, there's a lot of old coaches, coaches on them sidelines that get involved that could cause
Yeah.
them some health problems too.
Right.
So
I
it.
like I said, well, how do we look at the situation? The main perception is going to be obviously what you just said. It's going to be frustration. That's going to be the title of this whole thing. It's frustration because Michigan is not playing well.
Hmm.
I blame Johns, but yeah, Michigan is not playing well, and it just carries over, man. So like I said, the wild card, the trump card is going to be what that assistant said, man. I cannot wait to hear, or some type of press conference or whatever is going to happen. I want to know what the hell
Well,
say.
Well, we know that's going to be coming up real soon. They're definitely going to be both coaches is going to be at the podium explaining the situations of what happened. So we should be looking forward to that. Probably it should be on now. I would imagine it should be
I'm,
some updates coming real soon
I'm
in
studying.
regards to what's going on, what's been said.
I,
But there will definitely be a suspension for Juwan Howard. We know that for sure. It's the matter of how long will it be for the rest of the season and would there be any further ramifications in regards to this matter? Now, for me, it's not a fireable offense to me. I mean, hell, we see coaches do worse and still keep their jobs. That one, Juwan Howard, he has had some previous hiccups with coaches before. Last season, he had a little bit of a upsetness with the coach from Maryland
yeah,
that he got a little upset, need to be restrained from. So Juwan Howard has shown this before, and I think that's going to carry on to what his suspension look like because he's known to be a hothead sometimes when it comes to the opposing coaches. Even though he is highly respected, he
yeah,
can be a hothead, and it showed itself today.
right. Yeah, it's I don't know, man. Desmond says that he should be fired. That's a little that's a
That's
little
an extreme,
that's a
but
little
you know,
skirt between your leggish, to say, yeah, I mean, come on, bro, be fired. Like, I can see if you literally threw a out cold punch and knock somebody out. That's different.
right?
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Swiping at somebody, because I got a picture of it up here on Twitter. It's open hand. He actually tried to grab his face.
face. Yeah, he really was. He was holding back. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
That's that. I
yeah,
want to punch you, but I know I can't. But I'm too late. That's what it was. It was one of them. I'm too late. I ain't gonna punch you, but let me just.
right. So like I said, I mean, I don't think that's a fireable offense, man. But of course, we all know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Juwan had somewhat of a perception walking in the door. You know what I'm saying? So for him to get frustrated and react that way, media is going to try to chew this one up. You know what I'm saying? They're going to try to chew it up and they're going to try to elevate this situation. It was going to be interesting to see what happened. And the reaction that comes from actually the reaction on social media right now on Twitter is a lot of people actually love it for some reason. That's
Right. And Trey, we're saying to us it wouldn't be a big deal, but we're not going to say what the NCAA
right.
and the AD and everything what they're going to say. I feel that it's going to be a suspension, but as fireable, I don't feel that way. But that's our opinion. But it could be different. But I don't see what he did based off of the history of the game and what other coaches have did for them to say, "Oh yeah, he needs to be fired." I
Yeah,
mean,
we've
fights
seen
happen.
yeah,
Fights happen.
we've seen worse. So I mean, come on, bro. Some of y'all in here probably ain't old enough to even know who Bobby Knight is. You
And
know,
when you do, you already know what he did several times before he got fired. So we're not even. But it will. I think they will make an example of Juwan Howard in regards to the situation, especially for him. And I don't want to pull the card, but we don't have the leniencies as others. We don't have the leniencies as so. I believe he will be made an example out of in regards to the suspension. But as far as being fired, I can. If he does, it'll be a shock to me.
yeah, yeah. Like I said, you're gonna have that one part of the crowd. We all know what those people are. They're gonna say, "Oh, look at him! Look how he's oh
Uh-huh.
the perception," and those type of people can jump in the damn river for all I care. But this situation, like I said, the man is obviously frustrated. Um,
And I believe that's what it was because like I agree with Desmond on it doesn't matter what was said. You know, it's a lot of stuff that goes back and forth on them courts that even people could say things, you still don't it still doesn't um it still doesn't make an excuse for you putting your hands on nobody, no matter what they say. That's what we always talk about. Even in relationships, I can say whatever I want to say, or some people feel like they can say what they want to say. Doesn't require you to put your hands on me, and that's where he was wrong. There, because whatever that coach said to him, doesn't matter what he said.
yeah,
As a head coach, as an adult, as a leader, you got to take the other route. No matters how you feel or not, especially in that moment. And I think the problem was because he was hot in that moment. That's why he reacted the way he
yeah, that's
reacted.
what I said. Him and the coach was already having words, and then you have an assistant run up and mouth off and say something, which I'm probably sure he said that magical word. I'm just waiting for it to come out. That can definitely flip the script. You know what I'm saying? So if that was the case, uh, how does that justify things for you? If that was the case, because like I said, this is Wisconsin. We know Wisconsin is one of the most racist places on the planet.
It
So,
it doesn't. It
no,
doesn't. It doesn't. And as much as I know how the other side operates, this is not the streets.
right? You see what I'm saying? Yeah, right,
This
right.
is not. This is something bigger than what me and you are used to. Because normally, if something was said like that, it would be handled accordingly. Watch your mouth, or your mouth gonna get watched for you.
Right.
But we're not in that area. We're not in that arena. He's a head coach. He got players to look after. He got other coaches to look after.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe it was a heat of the moment. It's something that he did say trigger. I can agree with that. Doesn't make it right. Now,
Mm-hmm.
if I would have did the same thing, I probably might have would did it. But I'm like, damn, I know I messed up. And he messed up. I believe he's gonna he's going to hold himself accountable for that. Of course, I believe he knows that he messed up, and this is the consequences of it. So right now, we're just waiting. We're just waiting on the consequences to come from this situation. But we definitely want to jump on this topic because it was actually a slow Sunday. I mean, I sure didn't want to talk about the All-Star festivities that happened yesterday because that was trash. The dunking contest was trash. Of course, we had Cade showed up for the rookies and all, but it was a slow week. We was going into some other topic. We actually probably gonna still go into it a little bit later. It's gonna be a little real talk conversation that we're planning on having outside of sports. So I want you guys to tune in because me and King and hopefully Big A be back in time. We're gonna be talking having some real talk conversation. Speaking on submissiveness, and we want to have our ladies get involved. So if you know any ladies that would like to come in and speak their piece in regards to that S word, the Smith word, definitely send them our way. We definitely want to bring them on because we want to have a conversation about it. It's not to bash anybody. It's not to belittle anybody, but we want to inform and offer up our opinions as married men. King, me, we're all married men. I was a married man, so we want to offer a little bit of our perspective and get some insight. But not to go too further off into that, Juwan Howard, this is interesting.
Yeah.
It's interesting. It's definitely going to be the talk for a minute and see what is going to happen. And I mean, in the comments, what do you guys think? You guys seen it?
I just wish it didn't happen that way. You know what I'm saying? You upset, you felt disrespected. Go about it a different route. You know what I'm saying? Not publicly on the floor. You know what I'm saying? Go about it a different route. Just make better decisions, man, because no matter what the situation is, what was said, what happened, you're automatically going to be looked at as the one who initiated everything. You know what I'm saying? So it's
exactly. And that's what, people want to say. It should be something on both sides. It's going to be hard just by looking at what happened I mean, if you do get somebody on the Wisconsin side, I think they're going to do that just to save face. But honestly, everything started with Juwan. It was a ripple effect. If Juwan, at first he wasn't going to shake the hand, he stood back. I guess they said to calm himself down. But everything started with Juwan. Yeah. He was upset. He went in and checked because he actually collared up the head coach first. He grabbed him up a little bit because he was a little mad.
Well, he only grabbed him up because the other coach grabbed his arm.
No, he first. Juwan Howard, when they first got together, the head coach, he collared him up. Juwan collared him up first.
Well, but that's what I'm saying.
Without any other coaches came about. This is when they first got together when they were doing the handshake. And Juwan Howard, like doing all.
Yeah, he was telling them not to touch him. That's what.
No. Juwan Howard grabbed him first. It was like, hey, you ain't supposed to do that timeout bullshit. What your problem is? And it escalated from there. So the escalation came. It's kind of like the I don't want to say it's not like that. I was about to say the Isaiah Stewart situation where, he got suspended more because he continued on and escalated the situation. But
now look,
with Juwan Howard,
here it is for you. This is what I was talking about. Juwan Howard was actually going to walk right past him because he felt disrespected, right?
Right.
Watch Wisconsin's coach. Here you go. I'm going to pull up play it for y'all.
Yeah. He talking. He grabbed him. And he calling him up a little bit.
But that's what I'm saying. The Wisconsin's coach, Juwan walking by, Wisconsin coaches, he grabs you and stops you. So Juwan instantly says, listen, don't touch me. I'm walking by, I'm minding my goddamn business. Don't touch me. That's what the conversation started with. And then Juwan Howard, it got to where it got. But, like I said, he should have just let Juwan walk by. He was wrong. That's why he went in and tried to justify himself. And then you got an assistant running up, blabbering out of his mouth. I would have poked his ass out too. Who the fuck are you? Where you even come from?
And that's where the pack came from. He was like, wait a second, you ain't on my you're not on my level, but he's like, I had to hold back a little bit.
yeah, man. That was foul from the beginning with the time. I was like, okay, have some goddamn respect. You know what I'm saying? especially with these kids out here. I mean, come on, man. Even in the NBA, when dudes do that, somebody be ready to throw hands.
That's where I think where the frustration came at. It's respect to the game. Okay, the game is over with. So we about to let the clock and everything run out, and then you go and call a timeout. What are you trying to prove? What are you trying to do? And I believe it's a code, and I think the Wisconsin coach broke the code. Now with Juwan Howard, he was going to say he was going to move on past, and like you said, you watch the video, the coach held him up. Like, wait a minute. Now let me, no, ain't got nothing to explain. I know what you tried to do. Let me go on about my way, and it escalated from there. Now that it could have been right there. Now what Juwan Howard's in trouble at is him reaching over and putting hands on the one assistant that came jumping in trying to be Captain Saberho. Now that's where I think the trouble is going to really be for Juwan.
This is a great angle. I wish I could show y'all this video. It's a different angle of it. And yeah, it was literally initiated by Wisconsin's coach. The way he grabbed Juwan Howard when he was trying to walk by, it caused Juwan to react and say, listen, he put his hand on his stomach and grabbed his arm. So Juwan snatched back and said,
don't touch me.
Hands off of me.
I ain't feeling you right now. You did some foul stuff. Yeah. So I get that portion of it. And that's where, that's when people come in to get in between. It happens. That type of thing happens all the time. Coaches get into rips all the time. But where it changes is when they come, everybody come together, and that coach, whatever he said, triggered Juwan Howard to reach over. As big as Juwan Howard is, he had to reach over a few people to, hit him with the long arm of the law and hit that coach, which escalated to where players and coaches all got involved. And like you said, you see a couple of Michigan players out there throwing punches.
Yeah. I mean, you look at it in real speed, you see a coach grab for a guy's face mask like that, and it ends up, jerking him a little bit. You will obviously think your coach threw a punch. So it's all out war from that point on. Coach out here, he's swinging, I'm swinging. You got players running up and from Wisconsin thinking that they coaches got hit. So it just escalates everything. It's just a mess, man, watching this video clip.
Yeah, so we definitely going to see. What's it's going to be interesting, what's going to come of this. And I really want to see, and I'm waiting on to see if we can get a little bit of clips of the press conference, so we can hear from both sides. I definitely want to hear from both sides what's going on, because it's usually not going to be what we think it is. They're going to say, well, this happened, and he's going to say what happened. But, I definitely want to hear, what really triggered Juwan Howard into reacting the way he is. But I believe Juwan Howard, he's an upstanding guy, because he's going to be like, no matter what happened, he shouldn't react the way he did. And that's what I believe is going to come. It's going to be an apology. He's not going to do the blame game. I think he's going to be a man of it, because he got to for his players. He's got to show his players, listen, I was heated. As much as I may have felt I may have been in the wrong or in a situation, I can't react like that.
Yeah.
Because I'm a leader. It's not like he's just a regular person. He's a leader of young men. And he has to take that stand no matter what. He's a leader of men. This is what happens, and you got to take responsibility and let these young guys know that, yeah, you may have felt that you was in the right in that situation. You may have been provoked, but it's okay to be like, you know what? I let my emotions get the best of me. Even if he was wrong, I still could have handled it differently. It's a learning lesson and experience, not just for Juwan Howard, but for the players. And that's why I look forward to seeing it. I believe Juwan Howard will do that.
Yeah, they say I got a few people say that Juwan already talked. I'm trying to see if I can pull a clip up for us to hear. But yeah, like I said, I'm interested to hear the explanation. Obviously, he's going to own up to it, but I want to hear the explanation of what actually happened, what was said by the head coach, and everything else. Because, like I said, Juwan's walking by. Here's the angle. Now look, yeah. Now the coach was shaking hands. Everybody's walking by. Juwan actually shook his hand, but he was looking straight forward, like, okay, shook his hand. You just disrespected me with the damn timeout. I'm gonna shake your hand. I'm gonna keep it moving. The coach wants to stop him. You know what I'm saying?
Trying to explain himself. I guess he's trying to explain himself. I'm assuming.
Right. So that's what started the whole situation, man. They got a clip out. It's a pretty clear clip. So
Yeah,
obviously more and more have come out about the
yeah.
situation.
And and the thing was, like I said, I could see that, like you said, it was he was heated and he was trying to get on by his way. Right there, like I said, that portion of it that happens. We know that happens. Coaches get that little riff all the time. It's the aftermath of that is really what's going to be the issue. It was the throwing of the punch. That's the main thing about it. Him and the coaches get into it. They could have that would have been no issue. They would have squashed that. They would have spoke with both coaches and talked with them after that. But it was the throwing of the punch which escalated up to other coaches and players getting into altercations too. And that's where I think the hammer is going to come down at with Juwan Howard. Now, as far as how much, we will see. And when it does happen, we damn sure we're gonna talk about it.
Yeah, yeah,
We damn sure
um,
gonna talk about it. But it was a knee jerk reaction. I can see it when you're upset, but I can't condone it. I understand it, but I just can't condone it.
yeah. Right. Yeah, it's no other way to explain it. You just got to be better in that situation. You know what I'm saying? You already had an incident where you got ejected for having words with a coach before. So you don't want to put that type of perception out that you some type of bad guy. You had a flawless career while you was in the NBA. You don't want to come to college and let these little dudes get to you. Uh,
Yeah,
Obviously, it's bad season. Pretty much been dealing with some type of form of friction as far as him being a coach in the first place, walking in the door. So,
which I don't understand. I mean, he was Big Ten Coach of the Year last year. He won the
mhm,
Big Ten championship last year. So I don't see that being an issue. I think what it was, and we talked about this earlier in our broadcast, is that the expectations were so high for the season because of the guys that was coming back and the draft class that came in. We were all on the boat of this is a national title or bust type of team. But we didn't reality kicked in that these guys, these freshmen that's coming in, wasn't quite ready. And the guys that left was a big loss. We lost basically a whole starting lineup plus a six-man from what we had last year. And you know, it's starting to show itself a little bit this season. This is like got to be one of his coaching moments because
yeah,
it didn't go as planned.
yeah,
And this is another coaching moment right here in which we got to deal with this now. And it's something that's going to carry on with Juwan Howard probably for the duration of his coaching career here at Michigan, if not wherever he coaches at. This is that moment that they're not going to be talking about how Juwan Howard came in and won games and won the Big Ten championship and the Elite Eight and Final Four appearances that he have or may have. It may come down to this moment, and that's not a good look. And I don't want that to be for Juwan Howard because I believe he's a good asset for Michigan.
yeah,
And his character usually is always even keeled. So definitely, it's definitely gonna be something that he's gonna learn from, and I look forward to like this is not gonna be water on the bridge, but him coming back from this. I want him to see him come back, but I don't see it being like I said a fireable offense, but suspension most definitely. We just gotta wait to see now. It probably won't come out till like tomorrow or Tuesday. For sure. They're going to look it over. They're going to investigate, of course, and then we'll know from there. But definitely, we have to get on. We had to get on and jump on this real quick because this is hot. Like we didn't have
yeah,
nothing else going on.
yeah. Like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if he did get fired. To be honest, like I said, this is the NCAA that we're talking about. This is college basketball. This is Michigan. We're talking about. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets fired. You already know why I say that, but um, just got to make better decisions at the end of the day. You put it on yourself. Got to make better decisions. Whether the coach is trying to stop you and explain yourself, just sit there and listen to the dude. If you don't want to listen to him, whatever, blow him off. But don't get physical out there with nobody. You know what I'm saying?
Uh,
Don't get
that's
physical.
that's
You
the
know,
that's
you
the
know what
that's
type
the
of world
main.
we live in
Yeah,
today. This world
yeah.
is
That's the main thing, King, is that can't get physical, and this is gonna be consequences of that. So we're gonna have to see, man. But we want to jump in with you guys just to get a quick little talk on it. We might jump back into this a little bit later, but for right now, we definitely just want to see what you guys want to say. Also, let's get some shout outs to the guys that came in the comments with us. Harold, what's going on with you, bro?
Yeah.
John Crean, you've been active. Alex Harold Jr., what's going on with you, my dude? Off the top, appreciate you for rocking with us. Chris Bird, Trey Carter, Dominique, what's going on with you, fam? Christian, what's happening? Thank you guys for coming in. Patty Grimes, see Harold. Oh, it's 16, man. You always rock with him. That's our fan. That's our boy right there, man. Damian Martin. John Jones, appreciate you guys for coming in and giving us y'all opinion on what's going on, because it's definitely going to be, it's probably going to be the talk for the rest of the day, I'm sure, on Sports Center and all, media broadcasts. And we're going to have to look forward to see what's going on. But me and King, we definitely had to come in and give our little 2 cents, because you know how we do.
Right. Yeah. Like I said, we'll see how this thing plays out. Obviously, it's probably going to get much more uglier than it needs. I already got some of the crowd on Twitter already. Juwan Howard is a thug. You know what type of crowd that is. So you're seeing the tweets come out already. And this thing probably does get a lot uglier. So, yeah. With that said, man, let's just go ahead on and wrap this one up and get ourselves prepared for our show.
All right, for sure, man. But thank you guys for coming out, man. We're going to see y'all a little bit later, man. We Three Kings out.
All right.